Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
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 Sorry.
Finished? Found it? Okay, we're there. Right, we're sorted. Yeah, attention. Thank you. Leo, morning. Thanks for coming on, mate.
You're welcome.
I don't know whether
Nice
I
to
read
be
it
here.
right when you said I will or I will not. I can't remember if I got a wording right, but clearly you turned up, so you must have wanted to come on for a second helping. So thanks ever so much for that. So, we're going to talk. You're going to give us an update as to what's been happening with you shortly. As we always do, we'll jump into the comments and say good morning to the 40 people that have joined us so far this morning. Happy Sunday to you. Hope you're good. Josh, you're all right?
Good morning, mate. I'm very good, thank you.
Good. Ian, I don't want to know because she dragged me 4,500 miles around the UK yesterday. So in total, something like that. But we'll get onto that in a bit. Yeah, I do love it. Do you travel far for corals, Leo? Have you travelled ever? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I go to Germany a lot. Sometimes traveling 6-7 hours just to go to a hobbyist for 1 or 2 frags.
All right, so I need to stop moaning then, is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, so if it's really worth it, I have to
now.
Oh dear. Right, happy Sunday. Let's have a look here. Woody's Reef. Good morning. Happy Sunday, Woody's Reef.
Morning, Woody.
Nice new avatar. Very colourful. Very nice. Hope you're good. Gazza's here as always. Morning all. Happy Sunday Reefers. What should we call it? Water Change Day. I think the majority of people do husbandry on a Sunday. Tend to go shopping on the Saturday, buy something new, and then, water change on the Sunday. Dennis Anderson, good morning. It's a new avatar. Good morning. Hope you're good. Happy Sunday. Hope you're having a good weekend. Daz is here. I see you yesterday. Moving on. Amanda, morning. Another person doing a water change today. Morning. Who we got in here? Rod, not spoke to you in a while. Hope you're good. Every day's a water change day.
Mr. Rod, I was looking forward to seeing him during the week, but he didn't. I think something come up and he had to move. So,
is he near you? Is he?
He's not far from me, mate. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Good to see in the comments again. John Boy's here. Morning Reefers on way back home. Catch up later. Have a great stream. Yeah, you too, John. Have a good week. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. What's left? Melinda, hope you're good. Evening in Australia. Hope you're good. Have a good weekend. Mr. Fox, Steve here from Exodus. Morning all. Just a bit running around this morning. Great Sunday.
Morning, Steve.
Another Steve, East Coast Reefer. Nice to see you yesterday. Nice to chat with you. Got some exciting news. Well, not that exciting, but for me it is. Hence why I've got a smile on my face. Steve was helping me out about that yesterday. Who else we got? Techers Reef. Morning, Techers. Hope you're good. Gary Neal. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Olympic Offshore Reefer. Morning. Yes, love that avatar. Nice copper band. And what else we got in here? Matty Boy's here. Looking forward to seeing your tank tour that was done yesterday. Ron tells me that will be uploaded this afternoon. So if anybody is wanting to watch that back, that should be on YouTube this afternoon at some point. Going to go get his haircut this morning, but we'll be listening. Don't lose an ear. UK120, Anthony, morning. Hope you're good. And we've got Reefy Reese, as always, some regulars in the house. Thanks for joining. John B, again, nice to see you yesterday, John. Hope you're good, mate. What's Liam put in here? Hey, everyone else feel like getting ready to watch F1. He's got a Mr. Jebau, because that's to do with some return pump. Oh, no, Mr. Jebau's you, Leo. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, you're Mr. Jebau. Yes, very good, Liam. Oh, dear. He makes the effort, and well remembered. Morning, Lee. Hope you're good, mate. Hope you're good.
Morning, Lee.
I have a present for you strapped into the back of my car.
It's like a small child.
It is like a small child. Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest Royal exclusive skimmers I've ever seen. Sylvester's Reef, good morning. Drip is here. He's actually, unfortunately, having to do some work this morning. Well, he tells me he's having to do some more work this morning, but he's in the comments, so don't know.
He's doing nothing.
He's doing nothing other than probably having a bit of a dig in a minute on here. Let's have a look. What else we got in here? Haley's with us. Morning, Haley. Hope you're good. Hope you're having a good weekend. Mo.
Morning, Mo.
Morning. I'll come back to you, Mo, today. I'll get the stream out. Got a action-packed April and, rest of March and April coming up with guests coming on. So I'll look at when we can get you back on and have an update with you, Mo. It would be good. Benji's here. Morning, Ben.
Morning, Benjamin.
That'd be good. Dan's Reef. Morning, all. So this is the gentleman that was calling me a pickled onion in the car yesterday. Is that right? Is this right? Am I getting the right person? Right, okay. And his name is
David.
David. Good morning, David. Thank you very much. Appreciate it as always. Thanks for the support and the dig. Yes, makes the world go round. Here he is, our good old Haribo. Harry, that'd be good. Having a good weekend, mate. Paul and Ange, nice to see you yesterday. The sticks in that coral table were next level. Really impressed. Very nice.
Thank you for my bit.
You're welcome. You mean me delivering them to you?
Both.
Okay. Yeah. What else we got in here? Timothy's here. Wakefield Reef. Morning, Reefers. Hope you're good. Tim, I'll give you a buzz after this. Sorry I missed your call yesterday. Couldn't chat. I think it's Lee Snow or Lee. Morning to you. If I've got it wrong, shout me out. Ryan's Reef. Good morning. Hope you're good. Dennis, happy Sunday. Nice avatar.
Dennis.
Very nice. Spiller's Reef, good morning. Thanks for joining. Will, same to you. Happy Sunday. Mr. Ronald himself is here. Morning, peeps. Hope you're good. And last but not least, Practical Reefer. Morning, all. Thank you very much.
Morning.
As always, if I miss anybody, sorry, CNC Reefs, happy Sunday. If I miss anybody during the show, I'll do my best to shout out. So, if anybody's got any questions for Leo, we are obviously going to have a bit of a catch-up with him now. If anybody's got any questions for Leo, anything that we didn't either cover on the last stream, which I think was 6 months ago you came on, if I remember rightly. Something like that. Time flies.
Yeah.
When you're having
That
fun.
was a long time ago, actually, that.
Mm-hmm. I looked last night. I'm sure it was about 6 months. So, yeah, if anybody's got any questions for Leo, then please throw them in the comments. And as always, we will do our best to throw them up on the screen for Leo to answer. But no, stage is yours, Leo. What's been happening?
Well, basically the same as always. So very boring, but there are some developments. I'm finally building our new display tank in the farm. It has been empty for 1.5 years, so the planning phase was quite substantial. But finally, we filled it with water and also started filming the whole process of building up the tank and stocking it eventually, and show a little bit more to the viewers and the customers about the whole maintenance and how we keep the corals and etc. But the first video was out 2.5 weeks ago now, so that was only an introduction. So the next video will talk a little bit more about flow, lighting, the basics about keeping acros, and then we go further from that. And so that's something very exciting. Also cost a lot of time to film, edit, etc. So, but it's a lot of fun to actually document a little bit more about how we do everything and explain a little bit more in detail what we do, also visually. So that's actually a very nice thing to do. And other than that, it's just business as usual, or just work as usual. So a lot of maintenance, tank maintenance. We're also preparing a little bit for the summer time again, which is always a little bit less busy. So we're start to think about how to spend the summer period. So we're thinking about extending the first floor, because we have about 20% of the space in the building as storage right now. So I'm gonna take out the whole storage to an external facility, so that storage area can be designed as a more farm area. So there will be 20% more space for farming. So we're planning the systems, etc. So that's a nice project for this summer.
So do you get a lot of people reaching out for you for help then? Is that what sort of pushed you in the direction of the video, the kind of, I suppose, a bit more of a tutorial sort of angle, maybe?
Yeah, it's more than one reason. First of all, correct. We get, I think, 3, 4, 5 questions a day about a specific topic. People sending photos, videos, like what's going on, or sending their ICP results, like, can you have a look at this? What is, there's something wrong. I don't know what it is. And so far, we just keep helping everyone, of course. I'm trying the best as I can. But it would be nice to have some videos I can link to people. Like, maybe you should watch this first, because I can explain it in 10,000 words. But when you talk about flow, you can better just show them a short video than just explain it to them in many words. So I would rather give a link to one of my videos and say, like, maybe you can have a look at this first and then come back to me. So that's the first. And second of all, I just like to document a little bit more about what we do, because now it's very fragmented. I'm doing podcasts. I'm having a short, I'm having some information on my about page on the website, but it would be nice to just have one document online and also document it through time. So really from the beginning, over the years, also for myself, but also for my customers, to really show what I do and how I do it. And of course, it's also the third reason. Many of our customers I think 99% of our customers are online customers, so they don't come over to visit the farm, because we just unfortunately don't have time for that.
Yeah.
So many people don't have the face behind Leonardo's Reef, and I think it's very nice that you actually know who you're buying your corals from.
Connect with your customers, definitely.
Yeah, and what is my philosophy? How do I take care of them? So I think it also creates some more trust and just a face behind the whole website and the whole shop.
You should put a red wig on and a red nose like Ron does on his Friday night. That might just get you a little bit more busy. Well, it could go the other way. I don't know.
Well, it's probably going viral then, so that will be an idea. Yeah.
You mentioned flow a minute ago. Shall I throw this video up of the tank you've just mentioned? Is it now a good time?
Yeah, you can do it. This is the show tank I'm talking about, which right now is completely empty. So it's only filled with salt water and some PVC for the fish to hide in, and that's it. And you can actually see the flow already, which is a big wave going on.
How long is that tank?
It's sorry, I don't have the inch. It's a 3.10 meter by 1 meter deep and 60 centimeters high. So maybe we can do a quick calculation. It is it's like 10 foot long.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I wanted it to be bigger, but it's not possible, unfortunately. But this is also one of the largest single pane glass you can get. Otherwise, you will always have like a seam in the middle. So this is basically the biggest you can go with one sheet of glass. Yeah, and right now I'm almost finished. I almost finished the rock work, so that will be the next video. And when you do the rock work, you always have to take into consideration flow as well. So flow and the aquascape will be combined into one video. So that will be the next one.
So talk us through the equipment there then that we're looking at, because people like to know what kit you've got. I know we've just said Jebao, but can you elaborate any more, maybe?
Yeah, I can spoil a little bit. We definitely work with Jebao again, not because we're sponsored. If someone's watching from China and Jebao, just hit me up. No,
there you go.
You never know. No, we're using the 10 SOW 20 pumps. So that's the 20,000 liters an hour pump times 10. So that's quite a lot of flow. We have 6 on the right and 4 on the left. But now that I completed the aquascape, I don't think it's enough. So we have to think about something else for flow. But yeah, and the lighting I keep a secret. You can already see a little bit what lighting is above, but I'm not going to spoil that one yet.
It looks like halides.
Yeah, it is. It's halides.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think for many people, maybe they're wondering why you are going halides, because that's an ancient technology, and there's so many better solutions nowadays. But yeah, I will explain more about why I made those decisions. And they're not all rational. It's also my dream tank, and I just had this tank in my head for over 20 years. Something I always wanted to build, and yeah, I'm just going to do it the way I want to. So yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
A couple of people asking a few questions for you, Leo, straight in here. Not one really that reefing related, but Liam's asking about your pictures that you take. What camera setup do you use? Your pictures are amazing that you take of your corals.
The photos or the videos? I think he's referring to the photos, right?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, the photos is very simple, because I just use a Canon 600D, that's entry-level model, I think, with the stock lens. So it's the 24 50 millimeter lens. So basically a stock kit lens with an entry-level camera. But I think it's more important how you use the camera, that you really know all the settings, how to use them, than buy the most expensive Canon 5D or something and don't know how it works. So we just spent hours, literally hours and hours and hours, making photos and change settings and really understand what the difference is in settings to get to the photos that we want to make. And the advantage is that if you set up the camera in the right way, you don't have to do a lot of post editing. You can actually basically crop the photos and immediately put them online in the store. So it also saves a lot of time. And for the videos, we're also very basic. We just use the iPhone 14, so nothing fancy, no fancy cameras, just an iPhone, yeah, that's it. Also, just a normal app, just the video app, and just put it into the highest settings possible, the 4K settings, and just go from there. So it's all very simple, to be honest.
Cool. Thank you. Tim's asking, what's your most favorite SPS and most expensive SPS coral?
Well, basically, my most favorite is definitely not the most expensive, because I think my most expensive right now is some type of tenuis or Bifaria coral.
Yeah.
Because they're super sensitive and super slow growers, and they're in very high demand. So those 3 factors combined make them more expensive. Yeah. But I think my most favorite, I think Jake Adams from Reef Builders always said my most favorite coral is the one that looks the best at the moment. Okay. And for me, so that changes over time as well. So the coral that's most thriving at the moment is also my most favorite. I think that's the same for me. But in general, I really like staghorn corals for sure. Okay. Yeah. So anything branching, and other than that, I really like the Acropora grandis, because it grows in an elkhorn kind of elkhorn shape, which I also like a lot. So for me, it's, I think in the end, more about growth form that I appreciate than really the coloration. Yeah, because I think coloration, and this may sound very, very cocky, but coloration is something you can achieve at some point. But I think the growth form, or the final growth form of an acro is really a 3, 4, 5 year process, and that's very, very hard. That's even harder to achieve than coloration. So I think that's the thing I'm aiming for now, to get the shape of the colony coming out, and that's the pinnacle for me, basically, to achieve. Yeah.
Very good. Melinda's pointing out you had some Australian stripers in that tank. Any particular reason why you went for those?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of those because first of all, they're super strong, resilient. I have 3 or 4 in every system, and I never had one becoming sick or dying or whatever. So they're super, super strong. They're not the cheapest, but it doesn't matter if they're all survive, right? Because you also have cheap fish that 50% with a 50% survival rate. So they're very strong. But the main reason I keep them is because they will eat and pick on everything except for Acropora, which in an Acropora tank is something you really want, because any worm, any vermitid, any anemone, aptasia, they will destroy everything basically. So I started this tank up with live rock, and I put in around 80 kilos of live rock, which is quite a lot of rock. And I just introduced the stripies before that, and they basically stripped that rock bare within a week. So there was no pest, nothing on there at all. That's basically why I keep them. My experience with LPS is also actually pretty good. So I do have some tanks with torch corals, blastomussa, all that stuff. So I think, in my experience, they're also safe with those corals, but I'm not sure if they're safe with any zoanthids or etc.
Right,
I'm not sure about that. But because I really wanted to start this tank with live rock, I think adding the stripies was essential to make sure any pests would be eradicated immediately.
Is live rock something you can get? You've got easy access to over there?
Yes. I know a lot of local fish stores don't carry it anymore nowadays because it's first of all super expensive. You cannot keep it indefinitely, and I think it's hard to maintain. Right, you have to keep it salt, you have to keep it in water, and it's much easier to carry live rock or dry rock for a store. But we have the advantage that we've lived very close to the marine life in the Netherlands, which is one of the biggest wholesales in Europe, and they actually get a lot of imports in live rock still. So we can just go there and basically browse through thousands of kilos of live rock and really pick the biggest and best pieces that they have. And for this tank, we selected basically 30-40 centimeter rocks that were 25-30 kilos each. Wow. So we were able to get this very big, huge rocks and make a very dramatic aquascape. But we were just very lucky because we live so close by, so we can just go over there and pick the corals, pick the live rock ourselves. Yeah.
You're not worried about any hitchhikers putting live rock in your display, or are you just going to deal with that as nature requires you?
Yeah, I of course I worry. That's why we didn't connect this new show tank to our farm systems, because when you introduce so much live rock without knowing what's on or in there, you don't want to introduce anything of that into your farm systems. But I'm not actually worried that much about it. I think the worst thing we can introduce is maybe some bubble algae and which you definitely don't want to have in your farm systems, because when it gets in between the frags and into the racks, the coral racks, you have a big issue. But I think to get rid of them in a show tank is not that hard. If you add some fox faces, some of the stripies, like I said, all that rock that I have was stripped within a week, and I cannot find one single aptasia or one single bubble algae anymore. So I don't think it's a big issue if you know how to control it and to actually eradicate it. So I'm not really worried. And actually coral pests or Acropora pests you always find on or really next to a colony. So you're not going to find any coral pest on live rock because they're just not there. And if they are there, then during the cycling process, the rock will be, or the pests will be without corals for 1, 2, 3 months. So they will all be starved out anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about it, actually. No.
Back to your camera, people. What's my camera? Tim's asking, do you use a lens dipper when you're taking photos?
Yeah, we definitely do, of course, just to break the reflection on the surface. Yeah.
Tim's going on to ask, what's your thoughts on amino acids, and do you use them?
No. We I will also explain more in our videos. Obviously, we get this question a lot. I don't dose. We don't dose any aminos. I think it's unnecessary. It's a waste of money. If you just feed a lot of variation foods, we feed mysis, Fido, zooplankton, fish eggs, lobster eggs, everything. We throw everything into a big mix. We make a big soup out of it every day, and we just pour it into the tanks without rinsing. And in that food, there's so many amino acids, there's so many protein, there's so many healthy fats. You don't have to add anything out of a bottle anymore. I think the freshest source of amino acid is actually frozen food, and you cannot replicate it into a bottle. I think it's a waste of money. You can better invest in more quality foods than just to buy all the bottles.
Or more coral.
Or both, yes, for sure. Yeah.
Well, talking about some coral, let's have a look at these. Let's have a look at these that you sent me this morning. So, what are we looking at here then? Obviously, corals. So this your grow out section? Is it your what's this? What tank's this?
Yeah, we have a couple of systems downstairs, system 1, 2, and 3, and upstairs we also have a big system, and we basically mix growing out and frag systems. We mix it a little bit. I'm not the most organized person, so most times everything just gets mixed up. So you see mother colonies and frags combined together. This was our old display tank that was broken down for the new one that you see right now. So we also had a lot of colonies growing in there, which were fragged on a regular basis. So we tend to mix up frags and mother colonies, actually. This is one of the the more expensive frags, the Bifaria or Tenuis frags, which are super slow growers, but the coloration can be quite dramatic for sure. Yeah. Obviously, this is under blue plus a filter, right? Yeah, this is a coral that we sourced from Indonesia. Basically, we found it at a farm. I wasn't there physically, but I was almost there physically through video, and we found this one colony with multiple grafts. And we were able to get it to the Netherlands. Nice. Yeah. This is more of the growing out flat tanks. So you see everything is growing together. It's touching each other, which we don't really care about. For us, it's just it's fine. And if it's touching, we will just snap a tip off and put it on the frag plug, basically. And some colonies are too nice to frag. So they will just move to a place with more room, and
Have you got any corals that you've never fragged?
Yeah, we do. Actually, it's in this video.
Right, okay.
In the beginning of this video, you see that branching out Millipora type coral, and we never fragged it because I just like it so much.
You don't want to lose it.
And I'm just gonna move it. I think I'm gonna move it to the display tank because I just don't want to frag it. Yeah, this is another Bifaria with a minty coloration with copper goldish polyps.
Very
just
nice.
those Bifarias, they have the weirdest coloration, and the nice thing is when you just add them to the systems, they're basically all green, and over time, over 1, 2, 3 year period, they will just morph into these variations that are just amazing. Yeah. So this is actually frag that went to a customer. These are all frags that went to customers. So this is basically the size that we offer. Yeah, this is more of the orange passion type of Bifaria.
So just to hang on a minute. Let me just pause there then. So you were saying then about a frag. So what is Leo's interpretation of a frag? Do you have a measure in the farm that you say is a frag? Or you use your eye, or what would you determine as an acceptable frag to be?
Acceptable at least 3 centimeters, because I experienced that a frag smaller than that just takes so much more time to get back to a growing state. If you frag too small, that frag will basically encrust and then just go into a dormant state. So if you frag a little bit, if you frag a little bit bigger, you will actually see, like in this video, you see the growth tips coming out after like 1 month already. And that's the moment I'm ready to sell them, because I really want them to become active again. They have to go from a recovery state to a growing state again. And when they reach that growing state again, I will actually sell them. And if you frag too small, you have to just wait for so much longer. But our frags go from 3 centimeters to sometimes 6 or 7 centimeters. It's really based on growth rate. If a coral grows really fast, we can make frags a little bit bigger. And in the case of the Bifarias or Tenuis, we have to frag a little bit smaller, because otherwise we just basically over harvesting the colony, because they grow so slow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you avoid corals stinging each other, I take it, but you just literally snap or do you not? You just let them do the thing?
Yeah, but if you just, we as you can see, we just place them together, and when they grow into each other, they won't really sting each other to death. They will basically touch and merge, or touch and just stop growing. So if you just, if they touch each other while they grow next to each other, it's not a big issue. And I read some papers that it actually initiates some reaction in the coral that makes them grow faster, because they encounter their neighbors and they think like, okay, now we have to compete for space. Yeah. And they will actually get a growth response instead of a response. So they grow from more encrusting to a more growth state. I don't know if that's actually the case, but we never care so much about them touching each other. Yeah. Yeah. Also because we just have limited space, so we don't have any room to put them. So yeah. Yeah. So these frags are just made, as you can see, so they don't have any base yet. But I couldn't wait to share it, because they were just so nice.
Wow. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
And would you sell that to the highest bidder, or is that just a case of it's not for sale, you're growing it out? What's the intention?
These are not for sale yet. So a lot of people obviously contacted me. Do you sell these? I said, well, first I want to keep them for 1, 2, 3 months, see if they're really doing well, and maybe then I will think about selling them. But we still have the mother colony, of course, which is a tiny bit bigger. But we are never in a rush to sell, to be honest. We're not fragging and selling very rapidly, so we know the corals that we have, they just keep growing, so we're never in a hurry to sell. Which sounds weird, but it's yeah.
So people are liking your encouragement here, that you're basically saying you need more corals in your tank to increase growth.
I think that's actually true. I think the more corals,
really,
I'm sure I've read that before as well.
I think coral also helps to stabilize the system in some way. So it prevents algae growth. It prevents cyano, anything else from growing. So I think the best way if you start a tank, you can better add many acros at once than just start with 1 or 2 pieces, because those 1 or 2 pieces will suffer a lot, because they have to compete with all the other organisms in the tank. So you can better add a lot of fast-growing corals. Just maybe add some fast-growing staghorns, or some stylophoras, or just some easy SPS.
Like a Monte Cap, something like that.
Yeah, something like that, just to outcompete everything else that wants to grow in that tank. Yeah. So I think more corals actually make the tank grow more coral. I think that's definitely true. Yeah, it's never good to just add a few corals. Just add as much as you can. And I'm not saying that from a commercial standpoint.
Yeah, I was going to say we might have to snippet that, and people may use that for their spouse maybe this afternoon or next weekend. Okay. Yeah. Marvelous. No, they're great. As always, impressive.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a question from Gail's Aquarium. That rainbow splice. That's not the rainbow splice. We also have the rainbow splice actually, which is pink with yellowish green. We also have that one actually in the farm. We got it from a farm in Spain actually. We didn't drive there though. We sent it through UPS.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
How often were you tracking it?
Well, a lot.
Yeah.
I was waiting in front of the door for sure. No, but
Wow.
this one is actually pink with orange, so it's different from the rainbow splice. I got a lot of questions actually about that. I still have to make a video, put them next to each other, so you can definitely see the difference. Yeah.
Cool. Do you? I think I'm going to know the answer to this, but Tim's asking. I think Tim might be one of the people that constantly batters your inbox with questions.
Could be.
Maybe under a different alias.
Yeah,
Do you have live plankton to your tanks? If you do, how do you think it benefits the corals?
Well, we do add plankton, but it's all frozen stuff. So we have a lot of phytoplankton in frozen cubes, a lot of zooplankton, which are frozen cubes. I think live phyto would benefit the tank a lot, but I think it's a lot of hassle. First of all, I don't have time to grow phyto next to all the work I have to do already. It would be nice, but I just don't have time for it. The second reason, I think when you add live plankton, you also add a lot of water with all the nutrients, the waste nutrients that are still in there. So I would only add live phytoplankton if I can filter it in some way to get the most pure, to get the most concentrated solution possible, because otherwise you add a lot of that excess nutrients that the phyto grow on, and I don't want to add it to my tank, because then you get like all weird trace elements added in different concentrations, which is very hard to control.
Yeah.
And the benefit of those frozen cubes is it's super, super concentrated. Those cubes are almost black. So concentrated is that phyto. So there's not a lot of residual water in there actually. So it makes, I think it makes my life easier, and it's a better way to edit without adding all the traces.
Cool.
But definitely the tank can benefit from that much more than adding some aminos or whatever. Yeah.
Morning, Michael Kenny. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're good. And what's Mo saying? I agree with Leo. Big tank. First few SPS suffer till it's well stocked up, then they can't compete.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's always possible to add some cheap stuff like Stylophora, Seriatophora. It doesn't matter, you know. You can take those colonies out later and replace them for acros, but just get that tank stocked as soon as possible. I think that's very important. Yeah.
It's going to add a different range of sort of not bacteria as well. Really, it's going to enhance the biome that we're all sort of seeking, isn't it? Adding all the different corals, even if there's no intention of keeping them long term, they're going to add to that biome, and then when they're taken out again, it's far more diverse when you're eventually at the point where you feel that you're going to settle down.
Yeah, for sure.
They just don't work as well when they turn white, no? Oh dear. Well, have you had any sort of headaches over the years in the farm? I know it's a bit of a negative conversation. Any battles, sort of tribulations, any challenges that you've had to overcome?
Well, a lot. Many. I think the first year we struggled a lot with dino flagellates, because we had so much new surfaces in the reef. We had to put in all the frag racks, and they attract dinos like crazy. So the first year was really a battle with dinos. I think in fresh new tanks, the amount of nutrients are also quite low in general. So that was a big battle for us the first summer, especially the first year. After that, it basically stabilized. We never had dinos again. So it's I think also a matter of maturing. Right now upstairs, in the upstairs tanks, we have some issues with detritus settlement. So we have some detritus piling up really in areas of the tank that are hard to reach. And it's basically a design flaw, a flaw in setting up the rack, setting up the flow. So during the summer, when expanding on the first floor, we actually want to we want to empty those systems one by one, give them a big, deep clean, refilling them with a different type of racks that allow more flow going under it, and go from there. So upstairs we have some issues with detritus settlement, which I think long term is an issue in basically every reef tank. Yeah, so that's a battle that's going on, and other than that, it's, well, now I have to knock on wood, have to find some wood, but it's pretty smooth actually. I think the longer the systems are running, the more stable they get. You get to learn your systems, you get to learn things that will fail. You have to double check them every day so they don't fail anymore, and it becomes more of a protocol to check everything and make sure everything is fine, and it just becomes a smooth running machine basically. So, but I'm sure if we expand on the first floor, we will have many issues. Design issues, equipment issues in the beginning, and you just have to get rid of them one by one, filter them out. We did add the roller mats. I was really against using roller mats in every system before, because I always thought they would take out too much and they're just a waste of money. But we did add the Deltec filter rolls now on every systems, and it's really nice addition. It saves a lot of time taking out detritus manually. And we connected them to the overflow, so water from the overflow basically goes into that roller mat or filter roll. How do you call them? But we made a bypass. We made a bypass that goes directly into the sump, so we can actually control the amount of water that goes into the filter and water that just basically flows directly into the sump. So we always have control on the amount of water that is stripped, that is filtered. So when we notice the water gets a little bit too clean, we can divert a little bit of the flow to go not into the filter, but just
around past. Yeah.
And I think that's a very good way to use them, to utilize them, and it saves us a lot of time siphoning detritus manually. So that's something we changed in the last few months, and it's a really nice addition. Only the amount of filter rolls, I'm going bankrupt basically, because I think we use I think I'm using six of those rolls a month.
Wow.
And they are not cheap. So I really have to find a different solution. Maybe I have to start cutting them myself, or I don't know, because this is crazy.
Wow. Yeah. Just going back onto what you were saying a second ago about putting corals in, or a large amount of corals into a tank straight away. Mo saying, I agree with Leo. Big tank first new SPS suffer. Yeah, we've said that already. Stock up with easier corals first. So Liam's asking, when starting a new tank, Leo, would you add corals straight away to stabilize, or get the chemistry right first and then add the corals?
Yeah, what we did is we always start the tank with live rock. Basically, that's what I would advise to everyone. And when you add live rock, you will have the ammonia and the nitrite spike in the beginning, because you quite have a lot of die off from that live rock that you add to the tank, which I think in the end only benefits the whole cycle and the whole biodiversity. But you have to go through that ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate peak first, and that takes a couple of weeks. So I would suggest to wait at least a couple of weeks. After that couple of weeks, though, you will experience a brown and a green algae phase, which first is the diatoms, which come out of, they benefit from all the silica out of the glass from the tank, but also out of the rocks. So your whole tank will be covered in brown silicate algae. And after that, you will have a green algae phase, which can be very minor, just a little bit of green film on the glass, but it can also be very large, very large outbreak of green algae, which you also have to take care of before you add any corals. Otherwise, that green algae will suffocate everything. So I think it's basically, you can find everything on Reef Central and Reef to Reef and all the Ultimate Reef, all the boards explain this into detail because this is common knowledge for 25 years, I guess. You add the live rock, then you wait for the brown algae phase, the green algae phase, and then you add the corals. If you do that, you basically don't have to worry about any dinos, all the issues that you see so much nowadays with new tanks. If you just follow the startup of a tank that we did 20 years ago, you won't have many of those issues that we have nowadays. So I would suggest to wait for the green algae phase to be over and then add the corals. And then you can basically stock it up immediately. You can basically, like I said, just stock the whole tank full with coral in one day. It doesn't matter because you have that whole diverse bio.
The reason why Liam's asking you, Leo, is because he's moved house recently.
Yeah.
And he's moved his tank from one house where it was pretty established, emptied it, taken everything to another house and reset it up again. So I think that's kind of where the question's coming from. Does he wait or does he go out and stock it? Or, he's got his fish, obviously. He's got his live rock. He's put sand in, which he didn't have before, which is a new addition from memory. Correct me if I'm wrong, Liam. And, he's been battling a few nuisance algae recently.
Yeah.
Which I think will be from the silicates in the sand more than likely. And obviously he's lighting, but now he's, as we all are, he's itching to know. I think he's looking for Leo's seal of approval, should I say? And you've just dangled a massive carrot by saying just the more coral you get, the quicker, the better.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the moment that you add corals, you cannot play around that much anymore with, let's say, lighting. If you don't add corals yet and you have a lot of green algae, you can just dial down the light for 2 weeks without any harm, right? If you add corals already, you cannot do that anymore. So your flexibility goes down a bit. I think when you have the idea that you have the algae under control, which means they actually don't grow anymore, they're reducing in numbers and intensity, then you can start adding corals. I think then you can be confident enough to add corals, and those corals will actually help to get rid of those algae a little bit faster as well.
What about cleanup crew? Sorry, Leo. Any suggestion on cleanup crew at this stage, or not?
Yeah, for sure. I think cleanup crew really helps, but I think the best cleanup crew are these 2 10 fingers. So I think you really have to manually pluck a lot of algae as much as possible, and just leave the leftovers for the cleanup crew for sure. But I think the best way is just to manually take out as much as you can every day in the beginning. That's also what we did. Just every day take out the algae, every day. And at some point you notice they won't come back as fast anymore, and then you can add the corals.
Just while you're talking about algae then for a second, I was listening to a podcast on my 450-mile round trip yesterday, just in case I haven't said anything. Yeah, what's your take on macroalgae and growing them to compete with nuisance algae in a tank?
I think it works to compete with other algae for sure, because they're basically utilizing the same nutrients and trace elements. But I don't think it's necessary to keep them if your tank is just dialed in and just if you have your filtration and export methods under control, you don't need to take care of any macroalgae. I think it's just an extra hassle to take care of those algae. If you don't take care of them, they will die off, and all the nutrients are released back into the system, which is a risk.
Yeah.
I just don't see the added benefit, and people that say, but it's a refugium for zooplankton, etc. I just don't buy it for sure. Sorry.
Okay.
I think it's just a nice feeling to have an extra biotope in your tank. I think I see the joy that it can give, but I don't think it actually needed to keep a healthy system.
Well, some of them end up looking like a fish tank within a fish tank, don't they?
So I think if you do it, just do it because you like it. To have the extra biotope in your house. But I think it's not really needed. So
I think sumps are turning into a really good area to have a frag rag, personally, now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or just keep some different types of fish or different types of... I also know people that if they find a pest crab, the small gorilla crabs, they just put it in their refugium and it grows out to be like those huge crabs. It's just nice, to keep them there. But it's just do it for fun, not for any added benefit.
We get asked this question every time you're on, or each time you're on, should I say, Leo. Ben's asking, I guess we can't get your corals now due to Brexit, unfortunately. No posting to the UK.
No, not in a legal way, at least. So no. No, it's not. No, that's not possible anymore. You need export CITES, so you need all the necessary documents to export, which is not so easy to get, and I think also not worth the money and the hassle, because I think there are a lot of good sources in the UK as well. So,
Mo's picked up on the plastic tubs behind your head, Ian. We'll talk about that shortly. You're correct, Mo. They are coral shopping boxes, which I'm sure will be saved and used for something else, or maybe even more coral. Liam's saying, thanks, Leo. It's coming to the end of green algae phase, so he's in the car right now, probably watching this. I don't know where he's going near us, to be fair, because there's nothing to get excited about, unfortunately. My neck of the woods at the minute, but I'm sure he'll be going to get something. So Mo's asking you, what do you use for frag racks?
Yeah, we use two types of racks. We use the acrylic plate, which are the black acrylic plates made out of the cast acrylic, and we use the eckrate, the black eckrate, which is more of a grid. If I didn't have so many systems, I think I would prefer the acrylic plates because they tend to stay a little bit cleaner. Because not a lot of crab can go in between out of reach for the snails and everything. I think the benefit of those plates is that snails can hover around on them, and detritus doesn't really get in between it. So I think they stay a lot cleaner, but I think I have to cover like 20 square meters of frag racks, and if I have to buy them in acrylic, it's going to cost me a fortune. So I just stick to my eckrate frag racks, but it's a little bit of a pain for sure.
How often do you clean them, incidentally?
I don't clean them anymore, to be honest, and I also don't replace them because every time you replace them, you will have dinos. So I just let nature take its course. We found a nice mix of fish and snails that can actually keep it a little bit clean. I think changing them out or really give them a deep clean and putting them back is more of a headache than just let it stay in there.
So did you ever get to a point where you've grown a coral out onto the egg crate and then you've moved the coral, and then within a few months that coral's just started to grow back on the egg crate, and it might
a lot
of the
time. All over the farm.
But you don't want to get rid of it because you just want to keep growing coral out.
Yeah.
Fair enough. When we were at AAC yesterday, Rob got himself an Abyss cannon. Have you ever played around with one in the farm? Ever been offered anything to trial?
No. Shout out to him. No.
It reminded me of one of the jet engines that Anakin Skywalker has on the side of his pod racing thing. It was humongous when I saw it.
Yeah, I use 10 J-Bow pumps right now, but it would be very nice to replace them for 2 Abyss pumps for sure. It's a little bit too expensive, I guess. I would really love to try them. I think for my new show tank, there would be the perfect solution, I think, because I can get rid of those 10 pumps, which I have to clean all 10 of them, and it's a huge eyesore, to be honest. But it's just
a headache.
Sorry.
trying to mount them must be a headache.
Yeah, mounting them as well, and all the wires, you have 10 plugs you have to address, and yeah, it would be nice to use the Abyss, but I do have to save, I guess.
Save the penny.
Yeah.
What is the ultimate goal with Leo's with the farm? And what is the ultimate sort of? Are you planning on passing it down to your children? I think we talked about this last time you came on. Have you got any plans? What is the long-term plan?
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually don't really know. There are two routes I can take. I can think, because the farm is all the surface area, all the square meters are basically covered almost. I think after the summer I'm full capacity, so I can do two things. I can just stay as big as I am right now and just keep doing this, or I can really start to think about scaling up and expanding. But then I need more staff. So I need 3, 4, 5 people staff. So I become more of a manager than a coral farmer myself.
Yeah.
I have to think about if I really want that. Maybe I do, but I really don't know yet. And I also have to think about, is the market actually big enough to carry that? There are not a lot of aquaport keepers in Europe. So if I really expand, what's the maximum size you can actually become? Because at some point you have to start diversifying into selling more LPS corals or selling fish.
Yeah.
And that's something I really don't want to do, because I just don't care about them. So
I was just about to ask you if you'd ever consider LPS, but you've just answered that question straight away.
I really
don't care.
I really don't care. I just no. No. It's just.
Well, surprise, surprise. Tim will come and work for you. There you go, and he can batter your ears with questions all day long.
Yeah. So maybe at some point I would like to build a bigger show tank, even as big as the Polo Reef tank.
Oh,
but,
really?
That's I think commercially the biggest mistake you can make, because how you gonna get any revenue out of that? I think that's more of a commercial suicide. But sorry,
you got to look after it as well.
You got to look after it. So then it's definitely no more holidays for me for the rest of my life. No, but I'm playing around with a lot of ideas, actually, but I really don't know. But I would definitely not recommend my son, who's now 2.5, to take over the business. And I don't really expect it. I expect for him to take over the business for sure. If he wants it, he can do it, but I will definitely not push them. No.
You know the staff that you've got working for you then at the minute. How many of you? How big's your team then? Who have you got with you at the minute?
I have one guy helping me out.
One guy.
Yeah, just one guy helping me out.
Just one guy. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he a reefer, or was he a reefer, or is he now a reefer?
He's definitely a reefer. Yeah, I think you have to be. Otherwise, it's going to be. You have to really explain the basics, right? So he understands a lot what's going on. Actually, he has a reef at home, so he knows about all the testing, about everything that you need to know. And he helps me a couple of days a week, so not even full time. So it's basically mostly comes down to me still. Yeah, but it really the big advantage is that I'm not a store, so I don't have opening hours. I don't have any customers coming over, so that saves a lot of time actually. And that's also the biggest reason why we're not open for customers, because it would be impossible to do any maintenance or anything we have to do if there are also like people coming over all the time. So.
Okay. Yeah. Have you got any plans with any sort of conservation in the farm? Any plans on spawning or grow outs or?
Yeah, we definitely have the ambition for a long time to do more spawning. I think upstairs is already designed to do spawning actually, because the whole upstairs farm systems are built into a dark room, so it's completely blocked off any light coming from outside. So you can basically create an artificial environment in there with moon cycles, etc. So that's definitely something we want to do long term. I don't really see the commercial value of doing it. I know there's there's a German company right now that's looking into spawning for commercial purposes, but I think asexual fragging is still the most logical way to grow corals. Not in a diversity point, but definitely into just producing frags. I think the only benefit of spawning is that you can actually create new individuals, so you can crossbreed several different colonies, etc.
Yeah.
But if you do that, after that you can just frag them and create 1,000 copies again. So I think asexual fragging is still the best way to grow corals, at least commercially. So if we do any spawning, it will be more out of curiosity and hobby-based or interest-based than actually out of a commercial or conservational standpoint. I think the best conservation is just grow a lot of frags, the most frags you can possibly do, because then you basically what is that beep? Where is it coming from?
It's my thermal controller. I'm going to throw it off.
So I think the best way to conserve is actually let people buy aquaculture frags instead of imported colonies. I think that's the best way to conserve corals here in Europe or here in the West. So because everything that you grow locally, you don't have to take out of nature or fly all over the world with a lot of kerosene and carbon footprint. So.
What do you do for? Do you go through a lot of salt? I take it in the farm.
A lot of
salt.
Yeah, we use Tropic Marine Pro Reef. That's not, I think, not a secret. We don't really shout it out of, but we use a lot of Tropic Marine products, and we use about 600 liters a month of Pro Reef. We do 10 to 15% water changes for every system, with fresh salt water, and that's what we do. We really believe in water changes, actually, mostly to just take out a lot of detritus. I think that's the main benefit of water changes, but also just to reset all the trace element, all the nutrient levels, etc.
Is it a weekly water change, or are you doing sort of one system a week and then every system gets once a month?
Well, weekly or bi-weekly. Sometimes we skip a week and we do a little bit bigger one after 2 weeks, but we try to do it at least bi-weekly, 2 times a month, just to keep it as stable as possible, because I don't think too big of a water change is actually good. I think we keep our parameters close to the Tropic Marine freshly mixed salt levels, but still I think too big of a water change is also not really beneficial. So, yeah.
And I'm right in saying you're still using the Balling Light, or not Balling Light, sorry, it's just the Balling, isn't it? Balling Light's fauna.
Yeah, the Balling Classic is the official name. Yes, just the ABC solutions, and it's we go through a lot of the solutions every month. So
I can imagine.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we actually used a lot of calcium reactors before, but they were too big of a hassle and too unstable, so we just switched over to full balling.
Yeah, I've got a reefer local to me who was calcium reactor, and he was trying for ages to dial in, and it just did not work. So he's changed over to a 4-part now, and he's having amazing results.
Yeah, I have the same experience. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, morning, Yarrick. Hope you're good. Nice to see you in the chat. Morning, Jamie. Nice to see you. Who else we got in here? Newson's Reef as well joined us an hour late. Morning.
Morning, Pete.
Morning. Yeah, I turned the return pump off because when I did the water change on Friday, I just need to redial the tank back in with the drain. Anyway, do you have any equipment that's a bugbear, Leo, over there? Anything that you want to throw out the window from time to time? Maybe it's just me that don't have any patience.
Yeah. No, I don't use a lot of fancy equipment, so no, I really don't. I just hate the gyro pumps to clean them. That's it.
You said that last time, if I remember rightly. Yeah.
So
enough.
that's it. Other than that, I think everything is, only the price of the filter rolls. That's something that annoys me. So.
I can tell.
I found the gyre pumps weren't too, but like I bought spare cages and blades for mine, and it became a 2-minute job because I would just change the cage. I would leave the motor house. The motor house was fine. If that gets gunked up, it doesn't make any difference to the performance. Change the blades and the cages, and it was done in 2 minutes. And I could just throw the rest in citric acid, give them a rinse off, and they were good as new again. It was sort of a bit like the Vortex. Really, it was a really quick way of doing it, and I found that because initially I was the same as you. It became a real chore cleaning them down, like having to get it done as fast as you can. But yeah, as soon as I went to the replacement cages, it made a world of difference, and actually I really enjoyed them a lot more.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. You can just soak them for a couple of days, and cleaning becomes very easy. Yeah.
But times that by however many you had in the farm, I can imagine that's not you and your other team member or staff member. There must be jobs that you're the boss, so do you get to tell him what jobs he gets to do, or do you pick do you have a fair, even split in nice jobs and not so nice jobs, maybe?
We try to do everything together because I don't like him to clean all the tanks and me just sitting behind a computer. It just doesn't feel right. So we tend to do everything together, but he will definitely prepare all the boxes for the shippings, for instance, clean all the windows, the tanks. But we try to do everything together. It just feels good to just when you clean the farm, just do it together, the two of you. It's just a little bit of a better feeling than, So we try to. I'm not trying to give all the shitty jobs to him. No.
That's kind of what I was saying around about. Okay. Has he ever fragged a coral in a way that? Has he ever fragged a coral that you wouldn't have liked him to have fragged, or has he fragged a coral maybe a different way that you would have preferred, and then you've had to stand there and not say something? Because you don't strike me as quite a sort of reserved gentleman. So I couldn't imagine Leo like losing his head. But have you? Does it happen?
He never fragged a coral. So.
Oh, okay.
No, the whole fragging. That's all still me. Yeah, I'm not so good in delegating certain aspects of the farm. I noticed, and that's also why I am so busy, I guess, because it's very hard to give specific things really out of hand. So the whole fragging part and actually placing the frags, the whole packing of the corals, I do myself 100%, because I really the unboxing at the customer's place is basically the last experience that they have with Leonardo's Reef. It's the unpacking phase. And I think it's because it's the last experience is also the most important one. So I really want to make sure everything is really perfect when they unpack the corals. So I really want to do it myself, which makes it a lot more work. But because you can also just train your staff, just create some protocols, train your staff. But still, it's very hard for me to delegate those aspects.
We've got a bit of a saying: if you want a job doing well, you do it yourself. And you know, if you do it yourself, you know it's going to be exactly how you want it done. Even if you set those protocols, someone might miss a step, and you just know that's not going to be missed if you do it yourself.
And I'm sure if I explain it to him how I want it, he can definitely do it. It's not that I don't think he can do it, but I think if he screws up, or if something screws up, it's totally my fault, and I can accept it much easier. Because anything that's my fault, I can only blame myself. I also don't want to blame someone else, because that's also not fair. Because in most cases, if someone else screws up, it's just because you didn't explain it well enough, or I was a teacher for a long time in university, but also in high school before. So I know everything about the students screwing up, and in most cases, you can just blame yourself. So.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you use the lab sort of side of things for anything in the farm, in terms of anything under a microscope, bacteria, or maybe if right? Okay.
Yeah, we have a couple of microscopes, and and also mesoscopes. So they're basically binoculars, but a little bit more fancy.
Right.
And you can check out the corals like 20, 30 times magnification, which is perfect for spotting coral pests. But we also have proper microscopes that go until 1,000 times magnification, which are really used for dinos and bacteria and other, especially the 1,000 times magnification is perfect for bacteria. So we also use those just out of curiosity in most cases, but also we were able to determine and to identify a lot of pests that come in with corals and really find a remedy to get rid of them, because you can really visually check if they're dying or if they're really gone. It's really, I think it's really necessary if you want to develop the correct quarantine protocols to really ensure you doing the right thing. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Right, well, let's have a look at some corals that we looked at yesterday then, Ian, shall we? They're not as fancy as Leo's, so do apologise. So where did we go yesterday?
We went to Aquarium Connections yesterday.
Okay, let's have a look. Yes, and this was a shipment from where? Was it Indo?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Leo's giving a bit of a nod.
That's nice.
It's not sticks. They come in. The cameraman needs sacking though. I tried and then I left it to Ian, and it wasn't very good. So
just don't think we had long enough really, and we weren't set up properly for it. It was just a sort of fleeting visit, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, you were just trying to make sure you got the best ones. That's what you were trying to do.
It's understandable.
Yeah. So how many did you get? 6? Was it 7?
I got 5 acros, I think, didn't I? And then I got...
you got 5 acros of torch, yeah. Live rock.
And some live rock, yeah.
Leo, this not doing anything for you at all right now, no?
Not really. It's nice. It's nice to look at, but I don't know.
Okay. Not even a torch, no?
No,
nothing.
I think the only thing I would maybe consider farming at some point is the Goniopora. I think those are quite nice, but other than that, I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm building a tank at home now, which has to be low maintenance. Yeah. So there will definitely be an LPS tank or Softies tank. Maybe I will grow an appreciation for them at some point, because I will definitely not keep acros at home, because I really don't want the extra headache.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty much the same as the route I've gone down now. I've closed the big. Well, I say big system. It's absolutely tiny compared to what your big systems are. Yeah, I've gone down the route of I'm going to be easier corals in a low maintenance system, just because it makes it more enjoyable at home.
Yeah. I think if I would be a hobbyist, it would definitely be a different type of tank than only acros for me, for sure. I would definitely go for more Goniopora, hammer corals, frog spawns, different types of frog spawns, and brain corals for sure. Yeah. I think it's also nice to look. I think a mixed reef is also more interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the things for me, thinking wise, was when you go into stores, you see all the variety of corals, and you sort of think, I'd love to have that in a system, just to have that little bit of variety. Yeah. But when you're trying to keep Acropora, you tend to have to be quite specific with your system, because you want to make sure that care is exactly what they need. So it's really hard to be able to cater for all the different corals in a mixed reef. Whereas if you're going to go for a mixed reef, you might put a few easier SPS in there, but in general, it makes it a lot easier. And like you're saying, it makes it a lot more interesting visually, because everywhere you look, there's different shapes and movements and types of corals and colors and things.
Yeah, for sure. Especially also for people that not really into reefing or salt water. I think a mixed reef is much easier to explain why it's so nice than just to have a tank full with acros and sticks.
Yeah.
I think it's much harder to explain to people like, okay, this is the the best thing ever.
As
If
much
they
as
see
we
all
agree,
the waving polyps, they're thinking, okay, there's something to this. I can understand, but
Yeah, there's some. They're more your cup of tea then.
yeah, I see some. I already spotted some very nice ones in here. Immediately, I'm starting to scan around. Okay, did that one. Yeah.
Yeah, they were nice.
That's basically my job at the moment. It's just to scan all the wholesales and online videos. Like, okay, that one. Okay, just
Wow.
I really see that orangey staghorn a couple of times. That's really interesting.
I've got that.
Oh, really?
yeah.
I think I got it too, but still, you never know. It's exactly the
No, of
same or
course.
slightly different. That's the whole collecting thing. Yeah. No, but these are definitely nice acros for sure. My compliments.
Yeah, I'll let Ian go first, Leo. Otherwise, that would have been in my tank.
No, we
Yeah,
did have a
very
bit of an arm wrestle for that bit that you took in the end, didn't we? You was like, oh, that bit behind.
Yeah.
Tom, we've still not had a big tank update yet.
And this was the lab, wasn't it? So they do the Triton lab where we were yesterday.
Oh.
So anybody that sends a
wow.
Triton ICP to the UK, that was what I got to see yesterday. Literally a
Amazing.
snippet. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you wouldn't even know it was there, would you, Ian? It wouldn't even know it was there. But yeah, very interesting setup.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also do ICPs bi-monthly, like every 2 weeks, ICP for every system.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also not cheap, but I think it's necessary if you really want to dial in those trace elements.
And what are the ones that you're currently, or you find that you're constantly lacking of or short on? Just out of interest.
Mostly fluorine.
It's
All right,
funny.
okay.
I always find fluorine as well.
Yeah, I think we keep the base levels of trace elements with the tropic marine A and K elements. So that's basically a mixture of all elements combined, and most elements are pretty stable and in the right levels. But fluorine is always low, so we actually add extra fluorine to our balling solution. We had to find the right level of extra addition through ICPs, so that's why we do quite a lot of ICP. But now it's stable at the right level, but we have to add actually quite a lot of extra fluorine for sure. Yeah.
Nice. Isn't it something that you have to introduce very gradually though, as well? From what I know.
Yeah, you cannot just
you can't just pour a cap in.
No, you have to graduate.
Precipitates, does it?
It doesn't precipitate, but I think an increase too quickly is quite
damaging.
toxic.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
And I think you also have to keep. I'm
sorry, I'm laughing because when we were in the car once with Drippy, and he got his ICP back saying his fluoride was low, and he did exactly that, and he poured a lot in, and then on the way back from wherever we were, I can't remember where we'd been. We'd got the Christopher Denk podcast on with Adam from Frag Garage, and he was basically saying the one trace that you should not overdo quickly is fluorine, and Drippy's all the blood just ran out of his face. I looked at him and he went, "Well, that's that then."
Yeah,
probably in a more colourful way as well.
Yeah.
Sorry,
what trace element would you say you notice? Could you notice visually when something's lacking in your systems?
Nowadays I can, but only because we do so many ICPs regularly. You start to really read those. But I don't know if barium is low, how I can spot that in my corals. I don't know, but I can definitely spot low iodine. I can definitely spot it.
Yeah.
So there are some trace elements I can spot when they're low. I can definitely spot phosphates, nitrates, obviously, if they're low or high. But I think for most traces, it's also a combination of many traces working together. So I think it's very hard to determine. Oh, my zinc is low at the moment. I think maybe it's possible, but I'm not so advanced yet.
Right. Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Right. Let's have a look. You sent me the picture of the farm. I did show it earlier. So this is your coral. Let's just throw this back up. We're about the tank. So this is your bread and butter at the minute. Yeah.
This is the same system again, system number 1 on the ground floor with a lot of modders, but also on the left side definitely a lot of frags. We have a identical system. You can see it now. Yeah, on the right. So that's 2 times 3 meters. On the right side we have another small system, and then the show tank of 3 meters. Right, so that's our downstairs operation, and then upstairs we basically have the same setup. Again, so we have double this amount.
Right. Okay. From when you guys cut a frag, then how long do you leave it before you decide it's ready for sale?
Well, it depends on the species. You have species that you frag that are encrusted within a week and continue to grow, like those Joe Mango Acropora, for instance. You know, those easier types of acros. You can basically sell them within 2-3 weeks. They're ready.
All right.
But for tenuis, tenuis, Bifaria, it can really take 1.5-2 months before they're ready.
Right.
So it really depends on the type of coral, but we tend to let them grow roughly at least a month to 2 months before we ship them out or offer them online. We also do quite some cut to orders, so we cut the corals after ordering, but we always recommend the customers to wait at least 3 weeks before shipping.
Yeah,
just to get the coral encrusted and into a growing state again. Yeah, so we rather wait a little bit longer than too short.
When you do ship your corals out, do you give any sort of guidance or a user guide? Is there any sort of information that's posted with the coral to the end user, or do you expect them, if they're buying from you, that they have a certain level of reefing knowledge, should I say, or expertise?
Well, I don't expect it. I at least hope they have, because otherwise it becomes a disappointment.
Okay. Do you ever get any people moaning that the coral doesn't look like it did on the website then?
No, actually not.
Oh, really? That's good.
No. Yeah, that's good. But maybe if someone have that feedback, please let me know. But I always try to. I always when sometimes we people buy through Instagram, and they buy based on a video, and then I always say, like, okay, beware, this video was taken under blues with a clip-on filter. But most people will understand that, right? But our website photos in the shop are all taken without a filter under more full spectrum. So I think they're roughly the same as people expect them to be in their tanks. Most people run a spectrum that's a little bit blue, but not too extreme, and you don't look at your corals constantly with a filter. So if they're matching that roughly, I think it's fine. But like to come back to your question, we don't give any advice automatically with our corals. But if our customers ask, like, where do I have to place this coral, what par numbers I have to give them, we always give that information, obviously. Yeah. What I do recommend when people get the corals, just put them in your tank as soon as possible, because they have been without fresh water and flow and oxygen for 24 hours. So don't acclimate them for 2-3 hours. Just get them into that fresh water as soon as possible, because that's the best for the frag that you can actually do. And if you're a little bit worried about acclimating to the light, etc., you can always put it in the sand or really down low into the tank and see how they react to your lighting setup, and just move them up over time. So it's basically basic information, and most people can find all of our information about parameters, light intensity, all on our website. So most questions are already answered there as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Tim, again, avid fan of yours here. I think he's going to probably be asking for a signed photograph, Leo, for his bedroom wall, maybe. What do you think you need to keep yellow corals yellow in terms of trace elements?
Well, that's also a question I get quite a lot. I think, first of all, you need a strain, or you need the genetics for coral to be yellow, because a lot of corals that appear yellow under blues plus filter are actually green. So that's the first disappointment you can have. So if you have actually a yellow coral to start with, the way to keep it green is, first of all, low nitrates. I think when your nitrates are higher than 2, 3, 4 ppm, it becomes very hard to keep a yellow coral yellow. It becomes it will get a greenish tint very easily, which automatically makes that coral not the best coral for a mixed reef tank, because you have to keep your nitrates quite low. Second of all, you need a lot of light. I think light intensity for yellow corals is very important to keep it yellow. So low nitrates, high light intensity. Then your iron levels cannot be too high, because iron also tends to make the corals a little bit more greenish. So not too much iron. Not too much iron, and enough zinc and fluorine, because zinc and fluorine have the tendency to not to bleach out the coral, but to lighten up the coral a bit, to make the tissue a little bit more bright. And that also helps with bringing out the yellow coral a little bit more. So it's a combination of many factors. And it's definitely not the easiest color to keep, but especially in an Acropora only tank, it's definitely achievable. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you very much. Josh, Ian, anything you want to ask Leo?
No, not really.
We've covered quite a lot already, haven't we, really?
Yeah.
There was something I was going to ask you actually about the staff member you've got. Were they a reefing hobbyist and like a friend of yours prior to working with you? Or were they somebody that you hired specifically for the job and didn't have any knowledge of them before?
Yeah, well, it's a longtime friend of mine since I was in my teenage years or early 20s. So it's someone I can really trust, first of all. I think that's important. Yeah. Trust on many levels, not only in reefing, but just in general. I can trust him in the farm and working with everything. And he started reef keeping very soon after that. So he's also a reef keeper for like 20 years almost. Yeah. So and he had the time for it, because I think you need to be flexible. And he's quite flexible with his work. And he's willing to just work in the farm 1 day a week next to his full-time job. So, and he doesn't have any kids. You know, there's a lot of factors involved. But also, if I want to take a weekend off with my wife and kid, he's most of the times he's available. Okay. So I think all the factors combined makes him basically the perfect staff member for the farm right now. If I have to hire more staff, I really have to look outside of my my network, because I don't know someone else that fits those factors. So I really have to work with someone I know not so well yet. Yeah.
That begs the question then: whose music choice was this?
Which music? Oh, that's mine. That's me.
Is that typical vibes in the farm?
This is a Friday night vibe.
It's definitely a
Friday night, deep house, and
I can get on board
sometimes some energy drinks for sure, and then
and plenty of glow sticks in the tank for sure. Okay.
Yeah, you know, I like to work, especially on Friday nights. I like to work late in the farm. Just get some music. You know, I don't have to get up early next day, so I could just work until 11, 12, get some energy drinks and really crack some, just to get some workout. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Cool. So I do appreciate that. That's going out for me when you're like 40 plus. So, you know, that's my Friday nights nowadays. So yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah. Well, thank ever so much for coming on, Leo. I think I'm going to wrap it up
Thank
there
you.
at an hour and a half mark because Ian looks like he needs to go back to bed.
It occurred to me a few times.
Yeah,
I need another beer, mate.
he's struggling. I can see him. And Josh, have you got any rock climbing to do this afternoon, or
I've
not
not,
going back
no,
for
I
a
did
second helping?
I was climbing yesterday, and there's no ice climbing this week. So
Okay.
I did send a video to Drippy actually of one of the lads that did really well in the final, and I think he was a little bit shocked by what they were doing.
Okay, cool. So, what? Any plans for this afternoon? Your wife and kid, Leo, doing anything or family time, or back in the farm working?
No, yeah. Well, I'm going out for lunch or late lunch with my wife and kid. I think the weather's quite nice here in Amsterdam, and then of course I have to go to the farm, but that will be tonight then. So, yeah,
Good.
that's my day. That's my Sunday.
Good. Well, thank you ever so much for coming on. You are going to join us again. I think next
Yep.
month we agreed on a Friday night. The Friday night is getting rather loud at the minute. I will warn you. Come
That's
prepared.
totally fine.
It took me all weekend to and I'm not quite fully recovered from Friday night's antics. That is for sure. But on a positive note, for anybody watching that may be interested, probably not. I turned the titanium heater off last night, and the pump didn't fail. The pump ran through the night.
So it is what we thought it was, Tom.
It is what we thought it was, yes. But no. So you're going to get back on the beer, clearly, or go to bed, or both, or have a beer in bed, whatever.
I'm going for a Sunday roast, and then I'm going to put the football on, and then a few beers.
Okay.
Sounds
Josh?
I've got family coming up that I've not seen for
okay.
months, so I'm going to spend a few hours with them, and then
Okay.
probably carry on the aquascape because we're halfway done.
Yeah. Well, I've got to figure out somewhere to put the colonies that I bought with Ian that I have got no room for colonies for, so I've got to figure that conundrum out this afternoon.
I think you need to do a recording of the tank as well and show us how
Yes.
to tank to him.
Yes,
Because
I
we've
will.
still not had the update.
Yes.
I will. I
noticed you ignored that halfway through the video.
We've got Steve's on this week with on Wednesday. Steve and Harry are on. They're doing a live stream. They've got Tom Glazer from Mantis Reefs coming on. I think he showcased at Aqua last year. Nice young chap who was really into his quarantining when it comes to fish. So yeah, that'll be one worth tuning in for. We're back on Friday night. I think we've got the usual crew on. I think we've also got a guest coming on. I haven't got the calendar in front of me. Apologies, but we'll drop the artwork hopefully a little bit sooner than I did last night. But after I'd driven all those miles, I'll say it one more time. At 11 o'clock last night, I did. Wow. Do you know this shape? Do you know that I was gutted? I didn't drive 500 miles because of the old Proclaimers song with Ron, because I thought I could have, driven 500 miles and he could have driven 500 more. But anyway, we'll not go there. Leo, thank you ever so much again. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for coming on, guys. And we will see you all on either Wednesday with Steve or see you all next Friday with Ronald, Rob, and Drip. See you later. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your Sunday. Bye bye for now.
Take care.